Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today there is great news for all the Frankfurt airport fans out there. Terminal 3 has just opened and both the freeware virtual thrust scenery as well as Aerosoft's payware scenery have been updated to include the new apron layout and the new terminal in operation. In today's video I want to give you a little bit of a guide as to what's new and what is changing with the operational use concepts from Frankfurt Airport. In other words, how you can realistically use the new terminal in your simulator, and also what's going to change at the old terminals for your simulation experience. So let's go ahead and start with a little look. Terminal number 3 has just opened and it consists of 3 piers. You got basically the one on the right, you got a middle pier over there, and then you have a right hand pier over there. Now this provides capacity for about 19 million passengers annually, and it does of course significantly affect how the airport operates. So let's go ahead and go over a couple of basics over here, and we are going to start with a look at the airport chart and what has changed. So let's go ahead and open the Navigraph chart app and take a look. So the new Terminal 3 is located down here in the south of the airport, which makes runway 25 left/07 right the primary landing runway for the new airport. Note that this is just for landing. Takeoffs are still going to happen on the center runway, so 25 center or 07 center, and respectively runway 18 accordingly. Now the new pier or the new terminal is split into 3 different piers. Unfortunately, JPESN hasn't updated the charts in a very good manner. You can already see this on the general distribution here. Namely, the Pier Golf is located on the Parking Stand East chart when you're using Navigraph charts, and the Piers Hotel and Juliet are located on the Parking Stand South chart. Now, like it or not, that's what we have to live with today. So to view that visually, we got the Pier Juliet, which is this one over here, which is the new non-Schengen area. Then we got the Pier Hotel in the middle, which is the new Schengen area, and then we got the Pier Golf, which is currently not used just yet, but is going to enter operation soon. So, which airlines would you find at the new terminal then? Well, Lufthansa is going to stay at their old Terminal 1, which is located just over here. Now, Terminal 2 is shortly going to close to undergo major renovation work, where they are going to link up Terminals 1 and Terminal 2 to become basically one large terminal for basically the Lufthansa group. Now, other airlines are now going down south to Terminal number 3, and this is available on the website of Frankfurt Airport. Starting today on April 23rd, the following airlines are going to be using Terminal 3. That's Cathay, China Airlines, China Eastern Airlines, China Southern Airlines, Emirates, Etihad, Gulf Air, Korean Air, Kuwait Airways, Oman Air, Qatar Airways, Saudia, and Tuwai Air. Now, in basically steps of 2 weeks, more airlines are going to transition to the new terminals simply for logistical reasons. Starting from May the 5th, Air Algerie, Air Astana, Air Cairo, Air Montenegro, Air Serbia, Centrum Air, Fly Erbil, Middle East Airlines, Nesma Airlines, Noble Air, Canard Shark, Royal Air Maroc, Royal Jordanian Airlines, SkyUp Airlines, Tunis Air, Turkmenistan Airlines, and Uzbekistan Airways are going to switch to Terminal 3. Starting on May 19th, we'll see a lot of Western airlines with Aer Lingus, American, British, Delta, Freebird, High Sky, Japan Airlines, Mongolian Airlines, Pegasus, Sri Lankan Airlines, TUI Fly, and Vietnam. And then on June 9th, we'll see Air Europa, Air France, Bulgaria Air, EasyJet, Finnair, Iberia, Iceland Air, KLM, Scandinavian, Azores, Sky Express, and Tarom. And at some point later in the year, because it hasn't really been planned properly yet, we'll see Air Anka, Corendon, Nile Air, and Star East Airlines. So As you can see, loads of changes coming up over there. You can look the exact schedules up on the website of Frankfurt Airport, which I'm going to link down in the video description below so that you can easily access it. Now, if you wonder where to park for realistic operations, then it's basically quite easy. Having a look at the parking stand charts. Pier Golf, currently not used. Then we got the other two piers, hotel for anything in the Schengen area. Now, for those of you who don't want to bother too much with what is Schengen and what is not, make it quite easy. It's an approximation, but it works. European Union, so destination European Union, parks and hotel, destination anywhere else, parks on Juliet. And that way you can easily determine your parking stand for the appropriate flight. Now, obviously, what I personally do like to do is to take Flight Radar 24 and just look at the history of my flights and therefore see which gate has been used exactly. For example, it's no coincidence that we are standing right where we are standing with this lovely Cathay Pacific 777 over here, because this is actually the real world gate down here, Juliet 6, that the first real world Cathay flight to the new terminal has just parked at. So just go to Flight Radar 24 and monitor what's going on down there in order to determine where you are going. Now, obviously, this does come with a couple of changes for runway usage. So let's go ahead and have a little look. Now, first of all, we are starting with inbound aircraft for the south, which are landing in Frankfurt on the northern runway, which shouldn't really happen, is not standard, but obviously busy VATSIM event, that type of stuff can always happen, that you are landing on the northern runway. The main taxiways to get you there are Tango and Uniform. And yeah, that means that you are taking the detour around pretty much the entire airport. So, you'll be landing, you'll be going via November usually, all the way up there, and then by Uniform southbound to the new terminal. Taxi time, expect something around 20-25 minutes-ish for that. Unless you are on a VATSIM event, which can obviously slightly extend that. Now, another possibility is to taxi via Sierra. So they could make you vacate here, Papa 1, Whiskey, crossing 18, and then Sierra down to the new terminal, which is probably the easier option for all of us. Now, the standard departures are still going to be 07 center / 25 center and runway 18. So while the southern runway, 25 left, 07 right, is used for landings, it is not normally going to be used for takeoffs. So how are you going to get to your departure runway? Well, two ways of getting there, and which one is going to be used is really going to depend on your on the amount of traffic that you currently have. If you have time available, aka if the runways are not used to their maximum extent, you will be crossing the southern runway. Otherwise, you can always take the long way around over here, Sierra, Yankee, and so on. Now for 07 center, remember, Lima 20 and Lima 21 is currently construction site, so you would be departing from the Mike side anyway, unless you're coming from the north and are able for intersection Lima 17. In that case, you can expect the intersection. For runway 18, intersection Sierra is available. If you are able to do it, there is, I think, like 3,000 meters takeoff round available from Sierra. So intersection Sierra is still, like, you know, longer than what Düsseldorf and most other German airports have on their full runways. So that's always available. Now, that is the basic concept that they're using at the new airport, or rather with the new airport layout now. Primarily, you will be landing on the southern runway, and that should be assigned to you rather early during the approach process. Now, the way that this works on VATSIM is that center should already assign it to you. Otherwise, do ask approach for runway confirmation in case they do not provide it to you. Now do note that during busy events when a director is available, the runway is normally assigned by director. However, airlines parking at the southern terminal can expect to land on the southern runway by default, simply for the fact that it reduces taxi times immensely. Like that Cathay flight, for example, they landed 07 right, the Cater Romeo 7, Sierra 9, down to the gate, took them 2 minutes taxi time. So, actually efficient as well. Who'd have thought that? Germans can build an airport. The thing is even efficient, it's open on time, and within budget. There's gotta be something wrong. They got... You know, something's gotta happen. They're gonna close it right after Terminal 2 closes. Now, talking about Terminal 2 and closures. Terminal 2 is the one you see over here. So that's the current parking stand east chart. Looking up to the north, Charlie, Delta, and Echo. That terminal is going to close for major renovation works and for joining up with terminal number 1. The stands are still going to be used for, you know, bus gates and parking aircraft. So do expect aircraft on the stands, but do not expect to be using the jetways and that type of stuff, because they will do major renovation work up there. Well, and that's pretty much your briefing to the new Frankfurt Airport terminal. I do hope that you like this one. We'll surely be flying in and out of it, and honestly, it does look pretty nice from the cockpit view as well, doesn't it? Would be fantastic if Aerosoft actually updated their scenery to include terminal interiors as well, because currently they have no interior models, probably because this was modeled a little while ago and they just didn't have an interior model in the real world at the time yet, but I do hope that they are going to update this in order to look a little bit more realistic down there as well. Well guys, and that's all I can offer you for now. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know any questions you may have down in the comments below. Update is available through Aerosoft One or through flightsim.to if you're using the freeware virtual thrust scenery. So thank you very much for watching. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you love what I'm doing on this channel, I'd appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.